Well, hello and good evening again. Welcome to the 2012fad.com. I will be your host this evening. My name is Charlie Bluehawk. Last night we chatted about remembering the past, magic or science, and how what was once called magic became science, then became quantum physics, then became advertising, and now it's back to being magic again as far as I can tell. Programming entire races of people into accepting their own self-destruction and then getting them to pay for it. Really, that does sound like magic to me. Today, I thought we would chat about a subject that I know for a fact we have all personally experienced in one way or another at some time in our lives, probably still experience it now. The moron in power. It might have been in school, it might have been in college, and I know for a fact it's happened to you at work. It's probably happening to you now. The power-mad idiot who manages somehow, some way, to have power over others. You know, that sounds like magic too. This creature, this thing, can never be called human. Whether it is male or female makes no difference. It is something that has no real knowledge of its own, no real credentials to have the power that it has over us. And it is completely and grotesquely incompetent, and yet it has power over others. The most classical experience for me of the moron in power was when I was working at NASA at Caltech in Pasadena, California. Now, I was there for 5 years, and most people there, the scientists, the staff, are just plain folk. They follow the usual 98% are cattle formula, but beyond that, just people trying to get through the day. There was one, woman, and frankly I use the word with great hesitation here, because what this thing was a monster in passingly human form, who gained enormous power over others, abused it unmercifully, caused havoc and destruction and chaos that I did not think any rational thinking person, a scientist, would tolerate. And yet this woman was never fired, never censured, never questioned as far as I know. I shared an office with this monster for years, during which time it, admitted to me that she had no real credentials at all for the job she had. She frankly, bluntly, very explicitly told me that she had sex with all of her professors just to get passing grades, rarely went to class, and in the end never even defended her thesis, which is the final requirement before you become a doctor. She further told me that she had bullied her way into this management position. She threatened to quit if she had not been given the job, and this was during that promote women and minorities period in the USA, when the worst of the worst were moved into positions of power over really competent people. Being male or female made no difference. If you were a woman, black, and a lesbian, that was a 3-strike hit for any corporation because you got tax incentives and tax breaks. Inside of government organizations, it was even worse. And I have no problem with any of the three, except it would be nice if you actually knew how to do your job. So this bully, this thug, this monster, threatened and yelled and screamed and got her job, and then admitted that she had no idea how to do it. She was hated and feared by everyone at Caltech and JPL and NASA headquarters, wanted absolutely nothing to do with her. But she had a job. She had power over others. As I say, she continued while I was there. She did manage after 3 times to get me fired, finally. She wanted me fired because I refused to have sex with her. To me, it would have been frankly like humping a bag full of hammers. She kept getting plum assignments. Why? She was a woman in science. And yet if you talk to the other women at NASA, the real scientists, what they thought of her, you would hear a very different story. But like so many cases of the 98% we are cattle formula, they just wouldn't speak up. They wouldn't talk out. They wouldn't say anything. So they just suffered in silence. So, why am I mentioning this today? It's these types of power-mad, incompetent, grotesque monsters, these creatures, who the masters, the elite, the Committee of 300, always use to do their dirty work for them. Those who have no abilities whatsoever, and yet they crave power over others. It's these thoughtless, insensitive, worthless people whose only dream, only goal in life is to stomp out the joy they see in others. These are the perfect servants of the masters. For example, just look at any U.S. politician to know that they could care less about the people they are pledged to serve. They are put there by the corporate masters to do the corporate identity's bidding. It's the same in Western Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Africa. It is, again, the 98% formula with a twist. Here is a cow that wants to stampede other cows. It is cattle that want to stampede other cattle. What can we do about it? Nothing. Well, yeah, there is one thing. We can run away and leave them to themselves. I talked to an old friend of mine many, many years ago about some really horrible people I knew. And I told him I'm going to do the very worst possible thing I could do to these people. I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to leave them alone with each other. And this old actor I knew in Hollywood, he just turned pale. He said, "That's the most horrible thing I've ever heard." I said, "Yeah. No violence, no threats, no anger, no rage. Just walk away. Leave them alone. Leave them alone with each other." And that's what we here at the 2012 Fad intend to do. We're going to let the morons who crave power discover what their real worth to their masters is. And they will discover it when they're left behind with the rest of us to die. You may have noticed by now that I'm not what is called politically correct, which is, of course, just another form of controlling the cattle. The theory is don't talk about the truth, it's rude. Sadly, if I am anything, I am blunt. And as you know, we have a plan to survive the event, to survive, to prosper, and to have a life worth living. Because we will be living for each other, our babies, and their future. Do you want to have a future? Give us a call. For all of us here at the 2012thefad.com, this is Charlie Bluehawk, wishing you a really great day, and reminding you, please, to keep a good thought.